So are CAFCASS recommendations or advice court ordered? It's a weird thing. I get asked this a lot, and I was asked this, funnily enough, from this morning. And there's this weird dance between the court and CAFCASS because no, the short answer is the advice and / or the recommendations that CAFCASS give in a report is not court ordered. But the court would have to be heavily persuaded to depart from what CAFCASS has recommended or advised. So whether you've got a Section 7 report or whether it's a safeguarding report, the bit at the end where CAFCASS are telling the court this is the trajectory of the case, this is what they see the way the case should go, this is what is needed in order to progress the case to a satisfactory or to a conclusion. The court would have to be heavily persuaded to depart from that. So no, but there is this weird dance because CAFCASS are meant to be the eyes and ears of the court. So therefore the court rely on CAFCASS. So it's understandable to think that when you get the CAFCASS report, and if you're doing a bit of Googling, you would know that quite a lot of weight is put on the CAFCASS report. So it would seem right and appropriate that you would think that this is a fait accompli when you get the safeguarding advice or recommendations in the court, but not always so. Having been doing this for the last 17 years, I've seen many CAFCASS reports argued to be overturned, or I have seen some courts just decide, sometimes upon their own frolic, but obviously backed with the welfare checklist, to depart from what they think the CAFCASS are recommending or advising. So just kind of the short answer to this question is no, they're not. Okay. CAFCASS cannot make court orders, and when people read CAFCASS reports, it's really interesting because I mean the meeting I had this morning, it just highlighted something that when people do read CAFCASS reports, I guess as an aside from the question that's being asked, but just as an aside, as a pro tip, people often get hung up when they read CAFCASS reports on the he said she said bit. Most reports are pretty much cut into 3 sections. You've got the bit of background, the police checks or whatever it might be, who they've spoken to if it's a Section 7 report. Then they've got the he said, she said bit. Then they've got what CAFCASS reckon and their advice / recommendations to the court. And it's really interesting when people read these reports. Fields are definitely different to reels, because when people read these reports, they kind of get hung up a little bit on the he said, she said bit. And it's weird. It's almost as if just because CAFCASS have documented what the X has said, because they have to, that is not indicative of what CAFCASS thinks. I mean, sometimes they add a professional opinion, but there's this whole section for professional opinion. In a safeguarding report, you've kind of got that at the end because that's what they're advising the court. There's a bit of professional judgment, and there is also that section that's there in a Section 7 report as well. So regardless of whether you've got a safeguarding report or a Section 7 report, just don't get hung up. Just because CAFCASS has to document what the X says, don't get hung up to say that is CAFCASS siding with one person or the other. I always say this to people. In fact, whenever I get a safeguarding report to look at or Section 7, I jump to the end, because what CAFCASS think and what CAFCASS are going to recommend, that's our starting point. And then I kind of work backwards from there. So yeah. They're not court ordered, but what they can't be without the other. Courts typically, and especially when you think that over 60% of cases in England and Wales are heard in front of magistrates, and magistrates typically will not do anything without the say-so of CAFCASS. They won't do anything without any professional input. So yeah, CAFCASS do hold a huge amount of weight, but they are not court ordered. Guys, keep your questions coming. Let me know in the comments below. Is this something that you've experienced? Is this something that you've got, I have a light bulb moment, there's an aha moment? Let me know in the comments below. Guys, have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll check you later.